Michigan continues to search for that marquee win. They had another chance Saturday afternoon when they welcomed in Arizona to the Chrysler Center, but the Wolverines fell short. The Wildcats became the first non-conference team since Kansas in January of 2011 to win in Ann Arbor, and with it, improved to 10-0. This is Inside Michigan Basketball, delivered by UPS. Well, Michigan hosted Arizona, the #1 ranked team in the country, on Saturday. They lone game this week, and Arizona was trying to become the first non-Big Ten team to come into Chrysler Center and win since Kansas did it back in January of 2011. They have more wins on the road than any other Pac-12 club in the last 4 seasons, and they narrowly beat John Beilein and the Wolverines 72-70 on that Saturday afternoon. What a whale of a basketball game that was.
It was a great game, Matt. You know, a lot of people weathered a lot of weather to get here today, and I really appreciate that, and our team appreciates that. At the same time, we just fell a little short against a tremendous basketball team. So we just got to hang in there, keep getting better, try and grow. We try to grow both in victory and defeat. This was a tough defeat. We'll find a way to grow.
They're #1 for a reason. They've got great length and size inside, don't they?
Yeah, they really do. Tarczewski gives them a great thing, and then when they go small, they're really good too because Ashley can shoot the ball. So now you get the guy, a pick and pop 5 who can shoot it just enough. Tarczewski's a man down on the block. I mean, he makes Mitch McGary look small at times. And so we got to learn from this, and we'll get better.
You started out really well. It was a tight ball game pretty much throughout. Glenn Robinson really started out great. It's great to see his confidence come back. He let everybody.
No, that was a great thing for us to have Glenn out there. You know, he had a great first half. Second half, we executed really well, but we just couldn't get our running game going in the second half, and that's where we know he's really excellent.
I remember talking to you during the pregame, during that or before that game, and you said offensive rebounding is going to be one of the keys. They average over 15, with over 13 offensive rebounds per game. They did a real good number on you.
Yeah. Some of them were long rebounds, and they just were longer than us. But when I look at the film, I'm sure you're going to see some times where, Matt, we just we touch our guy, we tickle our guy, and there's got to be a strong, what we say, a meat physical box out. And if we don't do that, that's how you neutralize length. That's how you neutralize taller players, is get into their body. I don't think we did that well enough tonight, or they wouldn't have got 17 rebounds.
They are one of the best defensive teams in the country. Teams shooting very low percentage against them, 9th best in the nation, 2nd best in the Pac-12. But your team shot 50%. Any solace in that?
Well, a little bit, yeah. That we were able to score against a really good team. So, you know, they are a good defensive team, and we got to grow and get better from it. But you know, there is a little. That's a little. I would have hated a shot 35%. We would have got blown out of here today. But now we got to work at our offense. We're still so much searching for what is the best way for us to score. What's the best way to use Nick? What's the way, Glenn, Karis? We have weapons. How do we use them the most efficiently?
Let's talk a little bit about Spike Albrecht, the guy who may not wow you statistically. Had 10 points, though, a season best against Arizona. Your team really seemed to settle down when he was in the game.
Yeah, he did a great job. First of all, you know, I love Derek Walton. He's going to be a very fine guy. But in this atmosphere, in this game, Spike is a gamer in there. And so we elected Derek got in foul trouble in the first half. Second half, it was the right choice for Spike to be in there. And he really did a good job.
Karis LeVert, not as many points in the opening half, but the second half, he seemed to really take control for it.
Well, he took over when they shaded it, whatever they did. You know, he got more open than Glenn got more open. And as a result, like I said, offense wasn't the issue. It was trying to get stops at the other end. They got the ball too many times to their sweet spots.
The Wolverines battled, but no, they missed an opportunity. We get the players' take on the setback when we come back after this. Inside Michigan Basketball, delivered by UPS, is brought to you in part by the University of Michigan, C.S. Mott Children's Hospital, and by Absol Pure Water, the official bottled water of the Michigan Wolverines.
I think we could have done a lot better boxing out today. They got a lot of offensive rebounds. They were a big team in the front court. So, you know, we just got to do a better job of boxing out and getting rebounds, not letting them get second points.
While losses are, people can perceive them as a negative thing, I feel like it's a positive thing for our team. You know, we're improving, we're getting better. You know, that's the best team in America. They played really well. You know, there's just some areas of growth that we have to address in practice. But this is gonna, by the end of the season, this is gonna be one of the things that, you know, catapults us to being the best team in the nation.
Yeah, #1, baby!
Al Rose Steel Ironman of the Week, the student section, the Maze Rage here at the University of Michigan. They showed up Saturday morning as early as 6 a.m., braving the chilly Saturday morning elements to root on the Wolverines against the top-rated Wildcats. The players who showed up, Jordan Morgan, Mitch McGarry, everybody else, taking donuts out to those students, taking hot chocolate and coffee, anything to keep them warm. They are Al Rose Steel Ironman of the Week.
It's incredible for what they're doing for this school and our program. Just stay out in this freezing cold weather. You can see the weather is pretty bad right now. It's pretty cool for our team to get this much support, and we're happy to have them.
It was electric at Chrysler Center on Saturday against Arizona. The Maze Rage was out in full force, and they really provided a difference for you at times during that game, don't you think?
It was a great atmosphere. I love our kids came in early. They were out in the snow. They're getting donuts and hot chocolate. Thanks for all of our marketing department to really help them out. But you could really feel it in there. It was loud. And, you know, unfortunately, Arizona was pretty good in it, and that's why they've been winning all these road games, and we got to be able to fight through those things and win it the same way on the road in the future.
You and I talked in the pregame that sometimes you can be almost too amped up at home, knowing the atmosphere, knowing the opponent. Your team did a pretty good job settling down early.
We did. We tried to keep it simple early. We did blow up 2 of the first 3 plays, but we just got to continue to learn how to execute a little bit better in those situations. After we got through those first couple minutes, I really loved what we did offensively. And so we just continue to grow with this young team, and you know, because defense really is a key for us.
Coach, you go from one Pac-12 team to another. You had Stanford at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn on Saturday. You've played there before. Does that help you that you're familiar with the atmosphere?
Well, they've already played a tournament there. Right. So they've been there for 2 games, and you have the same idea. You'll have a Mike Krzyzewski guy and Johnny Dawkins coaching Stanford. So we'll expect to see a lot of the same game plan. We'll have to adjust and make sure that we have a better offensive performance than we did when we played at Duke.
So much is made of your starters, but you really have a 9-man rotation. John Horford, even though he may not boast a lot of points and rebounds, comes in and really settles your team down. You'll need him against a tall, athletic Stanford.
We need John every game all year long. You know, our big men have to really be in great shape. We're trying to get Mitch to that point. But we need John and Jordan Morgan to come in and do a great job for us.
We shift gears to the field and the ice a little bit later on. But when we come back, the women's team had a top 5 matchup this week as well. How they fared against the 4th-ranked Irish when we return in a moment.
Welcome back to Inside Michigan Basketball. The women's team began a 4-game home stretch against Eastern Michigan on December 11th with a 2-game win streak on the line. As a matter of fact, the Wolverines had won 5 of their last 6 games, but were all tied up at 32 against the Eagles, when sophomore Madison Rostovsky ripped off 11 straight points to give Michigan the lead for good. Rostovsky finished with a game-high 23 points, and Michigan breezed 89-75. Michigan's 3-game win streak ended on Saturday night when 4th-ranked Notre Dame came calling. Wolverine freshman Sierra Thompson gave her team their only lead 1 minute into the game before the Irish took control. Junior Shannon Smith paced Michigan's offense with 23 points. Saisha Gori played strong while scoring 15 points and grabbing 7 rebounds. Thompson added 10 points. 86-64, the final from Chrysler Center. The Wolverines are back in action on Friday when they host Southern at 7 p.m. Now, senior Val Driscoll missed all of last season after she tore her ACL during open gym in the summer.
I would never wish this injury on anyone, and it definitely makes you realize just how much you love the game when you can't be out there playing and you can't be out there practicing with your team, and just the hard work and the rehab and just the whole getting back to where I was, it came full circle.
Val was forced into the starting lineup on November 30th after Shannon Smith went down with an injury.
What was your mentality going into your rehab? You know, you knew you were hurt, you knew you'd be out for a while. What did you go into thinking with that?
Just going in thinking like every day, get a little bit better, get a little bit more motion, get a little bit stronger, get a little bit faster, and just every day get better than you were the next day.
I remember last year, it was probably around this time last year, you sat in Coach Rico's office and you were telling her like how you were going to get yourself in shape, how you're going to be in the best shape, and it kind of like you're there. Do you remember that? Or
I do remember that, and Coach Rico kind of made a joke about it and like videotaped me saying like in a year from now, like, let's go back and watch this and see if you are making your sprints, if you did make your mile time. And I have made my mile time, and I did make my sprints, and it's just amazing to see that hard work pay off, and I'm actually accomplished those things that we talked about.
Yeah, so one of the big things with Coach Rico is, being in great shape, being able to get up and down the floor. Would you say this is the best shape that you've ever been in?
Definitely. Being here for the off season, the spring and summer, definitely got not just me, but a lot of us in the best shape that we can be in. Like, running the mile and running long distance outside just really makes your endurance a lot stronger.
And your role the last few games has really grown since Shannon went down. Was it hard for you to kind of have to step into something you hadn't really done so far yet?
Not really, because I really didn't have time to think about it or process it. It just kind of happened. She got hurt, and then you just kind of had to pick the pieces up where they were and just kind of roll with the punches and not think too much about it and just do what you could to help your team be successful.
Do you enjoy that new starting role you've had recently? Do you think it's easier, harder? What do you think about it?
I think it's awesome. I love contributing, helping my team be successful in really any way that I can, and just being out there is a really good feeling.
For Inside Michigan Basketball, I'm Sarah Van Meter.
Sarah, thanks. Michigan's hockey team proved worthy of its number 3 ranking with a thrilling top 5 win at home. We'll get to that a little bit later. But when we come back, Michigan's football squad prepares for their postseason bowl game. That's next. Inside Michigan football with head coach Brady Hoke, and Jim Brandstatter returns to Fox Sports Detroit next week when they preview the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl against Kansas State. The Wolverines began practicing this week in preparation for the matchup, but did so without quarterback Devin Gardner, who's out with a turf toe injury.
He's a tough guy, and he demonstrated that through the year. And, the best medicine for it is to rest, and we want to rest him as well as we can.
Gardner is expected to play in the bowl game, but in the meantime, freshman Shane Morris took most of the snaps in practice.
It's a chance for him to, hone his craft and his skills and continue to understand the offense. We have finals next week, and depending on final schedule, he'll probably have a little more time, depending, to help himself, from a game plan standpoint and what we're trying to do.
Football's on the verge of finishing up. Michigan hockey is well underway and thriving. The Wolverines, ranked 3rd in the nation, welcomed in number 4 Ferris State to Yost midweek, and the team put on a thrilling show for fans. The Bulldogs drew first blood on Kyle Shemp's backhander, but a minute 20 seconds later, Michigan got a fortunate bounce off the stick of Andrew Kopp. It trickled past C.J. Mott for his 9th goal of the year. U of M then went ahead in the second thanks to Alex Guptill's snapper, his 6th of the season. Ferris State would later tie it in the third, and following a scoreless overtime, the teams would last 7 shooters in the shootout before Alex Kyle wore a crown. The Wolverines are now 2-0 against top 5 teams this year.
Well, I feel a lot better about them than last year's team. And, last year's team was a pretty good team, but we just couldn't find a way to win. We couldn't hang in there. We couldn't get the big save when we needed it, and our goalie just couldn't save us in a game. And this year, I think the goalkeeping is a big factor in the difference between the two teams. I like the leadership, and I like the impact of the big freshman class. So, I think this team's got something going.
Next up for Red Berenson and the Wolverines, the annual GLI Holiday Tournament downtown at Comerica Park. We bring back Coach John Beilein for a sip of coffee and bring you the story of the faithful following Nick Stauskas when we return. And welcome back. Michigan has always had a loyal and great following. Now so has sophomore guard Nick Stauskas. The Mississauga, Ontario native had a busload of friends and family, 60 strong, come to Chrysler Center last week and watch him put on a show against Houston Baptist.
What a hoot we had coming down. I'm going to put some of this stuff up on YouTube. So many people want to know what's going on with this, and we're just having a blast. It's fantastic. I had everyone's phone number and everyone's email, and as soon as I put it out this year, I got such good response. I immediately booked the bus, booked the hotel, everything, and here we are.
They had this idea last year. They really wanted to get all my family, friends, neighbors to a game, and last year just didn't work out, but this year my dad sent out an email in like September to pretty much everyone he knew and said, who wants to come to a game? We're going to get a bus and we're going to go down to Ann Arbor, and he got enough people to go.
I had a waiting list of people to come on the bus, and so they're having a great time. They're all up there having a jolly old time, and we got these T-shirts made, and I think we stick out a little bit.
It was awesome. It was a lot, because especially I haven't seen a lot of those people in quite some time. So even before the game, they all came to the hotel, and I got to talk to all of them, give them hugs and stuff like that. So it was definitely special for me, just because, like I said, I haven't seen a lot of those people in a long time.
Everybody's known Nicholas since he was born, essentially, in this group. So they've just followed him since a small child, and they really wanted to see him in action and come to a game. We don't have these types of games in Canada, so this is really exciting for them.
Family, friends, work associates, people came out of the woodwork. It's crazy. There's some people, I didn't know they were basketball fans, and suddenly they're here. This is great.
No one's more prouder or happier than Stauskas' parents for his decision to come to Ann Arbor. Of course, they're having as much fun as he is.
It was always a dream, and he was very open about that dream, to make it to not only a Division I school and a good one, but then to make it into the NCAA tournament, get it to the Final Four, and even to the finals and win. That was always something he talked about. The first big step for us was getting into Michigan, because we knew Michigan was a phenomenal school, phenomenal basketball reputation. So we were so pleased when he got there, and I think we realized when he got here that this was a really special team last year. And as they went through the season, we started to think more and more, you know what, this is possible. And each game that they won in the tournament, Paul and I were always thinking, oh gosh, now we gotta book flights now for another trip and another trip. So making it to Atlanta was an unbelievable experience.
It's a dream come true for me, and for Nick, he must be on just cloud nine. It's hard to imagine what it must be like to be in his shoes. He's thrilled to death. His teammates are his brothers. He loves the coaching staff. He loves the school. It's fantastic.
They've been supporting me through this whole journey since I was about 7 or 8 years old. So the fact that they're enjoying themselves now, and they're having a lot of fun coming to games and watching me on TV, that's awesome.
Nick Stauskas, one of 4 Wolverines in double figures in the 2-point loss to Arizona, 14 points, 9 in the second half. He has great support from people in Mississauga and the student body as well. He's really come into his own at the University of Michigan.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Yeah, I really like. I've seen a maturity level growth in the last 2 months that is tremendous. He's young. And he's been a lot thrown at him. All of a sudden, he's playing in Michigan, and he's on TV every night, and there's a lot of attention to a young man that can shoot the ball like he shoots the ball. And as a result, it's really huge right now that he's seeing this growth, and he's embracing it. I see him being a leader of this team down the stretch.
Yeah, he loves the atmosphere at Michigan. So we go from Mississauga, Ontario, to Eric in Los Angeles for our question, Coffee with the Coach, presented by Tim Hortons. How does your game preparation change when conference play begins, when the Big Ten season begins?
Well, you know what? We'll look at all our synergy numbers. We'll look at what we've had out there, and we have a little bit of time. We play on the 21st, and then we play on the 28th. We have about 5 days. But then once it starts, boy, it's like you're playing every 3 or 4 days. So you're trying to get rest, but you're trying to get better. We never stop trying to get better individually. We're still doing individual workouts despite conference play. So that's a big part for us right now, is how do we blend that, Matt? How do we spend time just dribbling the ball with your eyes up and looking at the court, and then also, okay, run this play. So that's the sweet spot we got to keep working at.
You used a full week to your advantage against Arizona. You'll have a week to get ready for Stanford. Good luck at the Barclays Center. We're glad you could join us for this edition of Inside Michigan Basketball. We welcome you back next week when we recap the Wolverines and the Cardinal. Until then, have a great week, everybody, and go blue. Inside Michigan Basketball, delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you.